Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the I Talk Back Sports Show. I'm joined by my co-host Jamal Bunner.
Yo!
It gets weirder and weirder every week, Jamal.
Sorry.
Okay, so we're going to talk about some stuff today. I mean, it's going to be sports. I mean, mostly sports. We're going to definitely try. Jamal, would you like to give a shout out?
Certainly, Kay, and good evening to you as well. I would love to start out this evening by giving a shout out to Jerry Jones for making sure that an issue that was going to die out seemingly by the lack of people standing, or excuse me, kneeling this past weekend, added a little fuel to the fire on this Anthem issue so that now not only are we looking forward to what happens this weekend with the players, but the following weekend when the Cowboys come back off of a 2 week bye. In fact, he's single-handedly made the 49ers Cowboys game one of the more interesting and anticipated games for 2 weeks. Please, shout out to him for master work of making sure that the promotion on this was done. Boom. What about you, Kay?
Well, I want to give a shout out to all our forefathers, that gave the ultimate sacrifice to pave the way for us to do absolutely nothing, as it seems. And Jamal, alluding to what you said about the 49ers, isn't it like the circle of life that the 49ers is kind of where things could potentially come to a head? Isn't that interesting
It
to
is
you?
indeed. It is indeed, absolutely. And with the Cowboys being the team that helps bring it to a head, it's yeah. Well, we'll talk further about the Cowboys later on. So yeah, right now what we're going to do, if I may, Kay, let's make a quick little run through for a couple events that happened on Saturday and on Sunday. First of all, Saturday, OU does what OU does, make me
What they
happy. They make me
what they
happy. They make me happy. So OU decided that they were going to just make sure the world understood they were who they were. Lost at home to Iowa State after a particular team, a certain team, went in and beat them. So anyway, Michigan State also beat the Wolverines again. My Seminoles, they're done. Lost to
they're done.
Miami. Yeah, they're done. The Longhorns at home managed to eke out a win against Kansas State. We'll talk about that on another show. And Charlie Strong won again. Charlie. Mr. Charlie is just killing it in South Florida. So that's pretty much what happened. The big stories for Saturday. Sunday, our vice president decided to pull some sort of publicity stunt. um, Odell Beckham Jr. Broken ankle. He's probably out for the year. J.J. Watt has a fractured leg. Both very unfortunate. Big losses for both teams. On the field as well, the Chiefs remain undefeated. The the Giants. Anyway, the Raiders and Titans, once promising seasons, are feeling the squeeze of having substandard quarterbacks. I don't know. Somebody's sitting by the phone, I think, who can still play. I
At
don't
least
know.
one guy that I know,
One
and
guy,
I'll
yeah,
give them a recommendation if they want them.
I would too. I would too. So, and I hate to say this, but I feel that this is going to take place. It needs to take place. The mayor of Dallas will be presenting Aaron Rodgers with a statue outside the Cowboys Stadium,
Right next to Tom Landry.
right next to Tom Landry. They may even rearrange the positions because it seems as though Aaron Rodgers owns the stadium the Cowboys play in. Doesn't
Well,
matter.
definitely the stadium, and he definitely owns Jason Garrett for sure. I'm not gonna
Yes.
say he owns the Cowboys, but he gets out coached every time,
Yeah.
and it's just amazing to me.
It is totally amazing. And so that brings me to the point of asking this question. Is it too early to call for Jason Garrett's removal? And my specific reasoning for asking this question is clock management. Okay?
Jamal, we had this discussion in January.
Did we, Kay? I don't remember.
Yeah, you brought it up.
Who did we? Who? What made us bring up this particular discussion?
4 o'clock management in the fourth quarter.
Was it against a
Yeah,
particular
exactly.
team? Was it against a particular team?
I think it was against that green and gold team. If I'm not mistaken.
Was it the Packers in Dallas in Arlington Stadium again?
In Arlington Stadium.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm through with it. My venom was really, really fresh and poisonous on Monday. Right now, it's just like, what else do we expect? And we're not surprised.
So, regardless of what we're about to talk about a little bit later, my venom is still fresh and I'm still seething. So, I'm going to say this. There's no excuse for not making sure that you figure out a way to milk the time, milk the timeouts that Green Bay has. You leave them with absolutely no time on the clock. And if you want them to drive down and score a touchdown, you make sure that Aaron Rodgers has less than 30 seconds. And you cover your people, okay? I understand my secondary is a little banged up, but you put some pressure on that man and you cover. That's all you got to do. And you make sure that he can't throw to Devontae Adams. Jordy Nelson was on the sideline. There was no excuse.
All right. No excuse, Jamal.
No excuse at all. So, as it stands right now, Cowboys are at 2-3. They're going into a bye week this weekend.
We won't lose.
We won't. We will remain above the Giants, staying out of the cellar of the NFC East. And good game tomorrow night with the Eagles traveling to the Carolina Panthers. That we'll talk about that later in the week. In the meantime, Kay, we're going to do things a little bit differently. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a couple of the events from this weekend. Let's start with this. Are you still a Dallas Cowboys fan?
I, a born citizen of Dallas, Texas, am a Cowboy fan. I am not and have not been a fan of management.
Okay. All right.
It's kind of hard to walk the line in between being a fan of your team and being a victim of mismanagement. Okay? It's kind of like being a citizen of the United States and still having to call your president. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That.
Yeah.
Did I break that down enough?
I think so. So you're saying you're still in the fold?
I am. However, since I have very little power in what goes on with the organization, I realize that. And I also realize that I have to come to the part where I really just don't care, like, what goes on, with the personnel. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard to do.
Yeah.
When the personnel is everything.
Yep.
It's everything. So it's kind of, if they don't care, I don't care. And that's where I have to get real soon before I just don't want to watch it all. What about you? What are your thoughts?
I still call myself a Cowboys fan, and I'm dejected at Jerry Jones' edict towards any player on the team protesting the anthem. Protest and they don't play is the gist of what he's put out there. That fascinates me. As the head of the world's most valuable franchise, you are willing to put your politics over the rights of your players. That you took the call of the Orange Man and proceeded to fall in line with at least 7 other owners, allegedly. Choosing to be tone deaf on an issue meant to highlight errors of police brutality and instead make this issue about disrespecting a symbol? Come on. Who are you? Okay? I didn't learn about the edict until after the game. I otherwise would have turned off the game in disgust. I was very disgusted when I read this. And you are able to make that separation between management and team. That man, to me, embodies a good portion of that team since he took over in the late 80s and has just done some things I didn't appreciate, didn't go along with, and other things that I was just like, okay, Jerry, all right. And I held my nose over the Greg Hardy issue because I really and truly did not feel that at all. And I stuck with him through getting rid of Jimmy because that was, and yeah, we are talking about Jimmy Johnson from back in the day. That still sits on my mind and some other Cowboys' minds as well. It's a bye week, but this may be bye for me. I'm not sure. I mean, if you're siding my team with the Orange Man, you're siding against me. So, what do you think there will be any response from the players, the Cowboy players?
I don't think there will be any response. And to be clear, a response is not kneeling. It's not putting your fist in the air. It's not even staying in the tunnel while the anthem is going. A response to you have to do this or that, which is outside of their job as a player, to me, is the only protest is to sit out. So if you're not going to sit out, then just go ahead and either stay in the tunnel, stand up, and play the game. But to me, by going and playing the game, it says that your check the amount of money you get for that game is assigned to how your loyalty and your dignity is, loyalty to your people and dignity for yourself. So we know what your price tag is. That's what I think.
I can't.
Now, I've come down like 100 since Jamal and I talked like 2 hours ago. So this is the filtered and the polished, cleaned up version of really how I feel. So you're welcome.
So that being said, in terms of the anthem, is there a means of protesting that you think can take place? Should the players even be out on the field in the first place during the anthem?
Are you speaking for the Cowboys or players, period?
I'm speaking for the players, period.
Okay, so the thing about that is you have people that actually want to stand for the anthem. So, but then you're a team at the same time. So the whole team needs to do one thing or the other. That's where there's gonna be an issue with that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have the answer. And you can't just say, hey, 5 people get out there and stand for the anthem and everybody else in the locker room come out afterwards. They have to be together and they have to do the same thing all the way across. So I don't even have an answer for that. And that simple thing, that seems so simple, but really it isn't.
Could they not simply go back to what it was prior to 2008 when they stayed in the locker room or in the tunnel during the national anthem, and then player introductions take place after the national anthem?
I mean, they could, but as I said, there are some players that would want to go out as they've done since 2009. Some have been playing since 2009, and that's all that they know. So, not many. Maybe not any.
I think Jay Cutler's been playing since 2009.
Okay, well,
okay.
I
Sorry.
mean, that's just the hard thing. And, we talked about patriotism earlier today as well. And, I don't need a flag. I don't need an anthem. I don't need a bird. I don't need any of that to prove that I love my country. You know, some of us were just brought up in a different way, and the flag means different things to different people.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing that it means for you on 4th of July, you know, in the statues that you have. I don't honor those statues. So,
Mm-mm.
I mean, I know I'm going off course, but patriotism means a lot of different things for a lot of different people. And just because I don't, you know, that flag is not family, God, family, and flag. I mean, that's not how we are. That's not how I am. So I think that people need to really realize that about most people that don't look like them.
Yeah, just because we don't look like them, and we don't respond the same way, we don't act the same way, does not mean that we're any less patriotic. And the same way that you have people who do perform various acts for the United States, our soldiers may not necessarily even appear to be soldiers, are probably the most patriotic people that we have. But walking down the street, how are you necessarily going to know a civilian who's actually a soldier, who's fought for your country? We don't know that. And it's not that it's a requirement that people walk down the street with the flag plastered all over them, much less, you know, on the spot sing the national anthem to prove just how patriotic they are. That it is a matter of understanding that we're all in this country. We're free in this country. We're free to be the people that we are, and that differences need to be embraced. And yeah, embrace the differences. That's why we're here in the first place. Remember, we came here, people, excuse me, I'm sorry. The English came here originally because they could not get along with the Church of England, and they wanted to have diverse religious freedom. So, yeah. Remember that. We're all diverse. So,
thank God.
yeah, thankfully. So, I wanted to get your take on an issue that kind of has me scratching my head a little bit. The Jemele Hill issue with ESPN.
Like, okay, so what we do here at this fine establishment is we go out and we find lovely local business people and we try to promote their business on our show, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And see, what I'm getting at is I couldn't be Jemele because I would do just as Jemele did. You know what I'm saying? So my point is I could never get the big people, okay? Because I'm going to embarrass you because I'm going to say what I want to say. And, I mean, I don't want to watch what I have to say, okay? So I just think that she is her. She's not going to say, okay, I work for ESPN, so I better not send this private tweet about whatever. No, she's going to say what she has to say. And people are they call her dumb, uneducated. And we all know that that's not true. The sister knows her stuff, okay? About sports, she's very well educated. And you cannot diminish that light that's in that woman. Okay, so you put her on suspension for some stuff that happened previously because she grandstanded your ass like big time, her and her compadre, and they said that they weren't going to do the show after you told her she couldn't. You know what I'm saying? So now you have to wait for the opportunity to make something what it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not about what she did. It's about what she did previously. So what I think about that is ESPN, who watches it anyway? I mean, we don't like their announcers for basketball. I mean, we only watch because it's a favorable matchup. Now, I used to wake up and go to sleep to some ESPN. I mean, it would be the same episode when I went to sleep, when I woke up, and then when 6 a.m. came, it was a new episode. How do that? I can't give them nothing. I don't have nothing for them. I don't. So, y'all suck. Okay, Jamal, your turn.
Okay, I don't know how to even come close to following up that. Jemele Hill is somebody that I follow on Twitter, and I've been following since she was writing columns for ESPN for, I believe it's the Orlando Sentinel, and that her ascension through the ranks of ESPN I've kept track of, and all that to say that I am probably a very biased person to respond to this. I thought it was a whole load of BS. Yes, it was a load of BS. That and it was, like you said, it seemed to be a bit of like some back pay for her previous, truthful tweets about the Orange Man. So, nothing that anyone else in the news hasn't said, pundits have said on television, just, yeah. But, and I think that what ESPN did was more about covering its tail in this particular case and trying to make an example out of Jamil, and that it wasn't well handled. I think that if anything, you say you sit for 2 shows. You don't do 2 weeks. 2 shows, all right. I think that punishment fits the crime, and that then you go on from there. But,
So I have a question. What do you think that ESPN is ultimately going to do with the 6? How can they do this without getting the backlash from people like us?
they'll point
How would they make their... What's the exit strategy? That's my question.
they'll give Jamil a tight rope, and they will stare at the ratings. They're going to be on them about the ratings, and that they're going to be really heavily watched. I'm not sure what the 6 or what happens to the 6 beyond January 1st. I'm not sure. And unless they can figure out a way to turn around the ratings, that I'm not sure that the show makes it past a year.
Well, I think they also need to understand the ratings because the network sucks, not because Jamil and Michael suck.
This is true, but this is what we do in the corporate society, as we say.
No, I just put
Yeah,
that out there.
yeah,
Like,
mhm.
Jamil, if you're listening, girl, I got your back.
I got it back too. I'm just answering your question.
I understand about the corporate,
Mhm.
the corporate stuff. I understand that.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with her.
So, speaking of not having anything to do with her,
Also,
go ahead.
How soon? Like, okay, so this is week, 4, 5? So we have like 11, 12 more weeks. So how soon do you think that our friend is going to get a call? Do you think he's going to get a call before the end of the year?
No.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to get a call before the end of the year. I don't think the owners are going to be smart enough to have him come to the owners meeting next week when they're trying to push for the rule that requires players to stand up for the anthem.
Wouldn't it make sense to do that, Jamal? Wouldn't that be like a PR thing to do, Jamal? Wouldn't it?
I'm the NFL. I don't do PR.
Oh, you don't think? Okay.
I don't do PR. I'm the NFL. No. Mm-mm. No.
Right. As
Because
normal,
if
then yes, it would make sense to bring in the person who is the catalyst that started all of this crap. So you would just think, as a PR measure, you would just go ahead and make it seem that he could have some input in the situation, even if it's not only for him to say something for 10 or 15 minutes. So to normal people such as myself, it would be the wise thing to do.
Kate, if the NFL were trying to do the right thing, they would have said, here is $10 million, put him on your roster. You don't have to play him. Just pay him for a year. Put him on the roster. And a lot of this would probably actually not even have taken place. They're their own worst enemy. So that they're going to be that intelligent, because the NFL Players Association, they're going to be there, apparently. But to have Colin Kaepernick there, no. Why? No. They're not even smart enough to realize what the actual issue is. So, and they've done nothing as an organization to actually fix the actual problem or work towards fixing the actual problem. So, Colin Kaepernick aside, no, they're not going to do anything.
Okay,
What you think? What?
I just think it's the smart thing to do.
I agree. I completely agree. So speaking of doing the smart thing, Cam. I wanted to get your take on Cam Newton and the reporter.
Well, as I've told you and everybody else, had it been me in the conference and she's talking about routes, a woman routes, and I'll be like, yeah, Cam, and I know my shit too. Now answer the question. See, that's me. I'm just that confident in what I'm asking, and where I am and how I got here and who I'm around and who I'm talking to, that it wouldn't have been no issue. I mean, I take it as a compliment. Okay. Obviously, no other woman has asked him about routes before, so he was just taken aback by it, and probably that's all there was to it. I'm not offended. I wouldn't have been offended. I would have just said, "Hey, just mention my name. It's Barbara." Okay, other people could be like, "Okay, Barbara." Let's let this work both ways. Right? So.
It's amusing that you said that. He gave this after a few days and being dropped by was it Dannon?
Dannon.
Yeah, we'll talk about that anyway. That he gave this convoluted version of an apology, and then tiptoed back out a day or two later and said, "Yeah, no, that was actually supposed to have been a compliment. I mean, it was supposed to have been a compliment." Like, dude, you've already stepped in it, and you already did whatever. Just.
Well, my take on it is because it was a forced apology. He didn't want to apologize and did not feel he had to. And if he was just going to lose that little contract, he just shouldn't have apologized in the first place. I mean, you're in a male-dominated sport. Why do you have your feelings on your shoulder?
Why even open your mouth and acknowledge that it's a woman in the first place? Why not just say it was a good question?
Because he's Kim. He doesn't have any worries.
I know, yeah.
He's awkward. I mean, we might even be kin, but that dude, like, he the cousin. Like, we're not really sure, and that's fine. If you're around Cam, something just might not quite be right. Okay? I mean, we know this about him. Look at what he wears. Did you see the World War II pin he had in his cap? Like, dude, I mean, like, leave him alone. I mean, if you don't, you're going to wind up committing that dude. I'm just saying. Because things just don't add up with him. Leave him alone.
Let me ask this question, since you put this out there. He or Russell Westbrook, which one do you have the worst, which one gives you the most fashion nightmares?
I understand Russ. Russ is very competitive. I don't understand them tight clothes. But he's from California, and that's probably what they do there. And then he's from California. He like in the middle of nowhere. He's in fucking Oklahoma City like most of the time. So he really don't know what to do. I mean, his identity is kind of maybe sketchy. Otherwise, a basketball player. So, I mean, he just don't know. I mean, a lot of things. And then he has to go to California to get, like, updated on what's going on, like, what's cool. Because he's in the middle of nowhere. I mean, he's in Oklahoma. Come on now.
They just to the north of you, though.
But hey, it could be 5 miles, and the mess can just fall right off the edge of the world. I'm telling you, 5 miles.
Oh.
And Oklahoma, I'm just on right now because of various reasons, Jamal.
Just throwing up my little Texas sweatshirt. So, yeah. All right, Kay.
Yes, Jamal.
The only other thing that I had to ask you about, and I touched on it earlier, I want to go back to it briefly. the staged walkout by the vice president. Give me your thoughts on that.
Well, this is what I think. It's kind of like when they prep you for a show. Like they send you the questions, and you can tweak the questions however you want before you get on the show. And so what he should have did is he should have asked each and every player, "Hey, is there going to be a protest? What are you guys thinking? I mean, how is this going to go? I mean, the vice president is coming. Maybe he should have just did a little probing before he went. People say it was staged. I just don't think I really care that much about the whole situation. Like, why? Maybe he didn't have to go through traffic the way that we did. Maybe he didn't have to stand in line the way that we do.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you drove in all that damn traffic to get there, stood in that long ass line, then surely you would want to stay and you just wouldn't get up and just leave. Jamal, give me the political spin on this, because I know you know more about this than I do.
The only thing I know is that this was obviously staged from the get-go. When the president tells you to go, and that if they do X, then you are to do Y, and you tell reporters before you go in to sit tight because something's going to happen. You choose the game in Indianapolis in which the 49ers are playing. The 49ers. They're going to protest. And on Peyton Manning Day, which had this added little bonus of, hold up, is this a little bit of Peyton Manning hate here? Is that what also is going on? As the former governor of Indiana, slides in and tries to slide out? Really, dude? That's what you did? And
he deserved better.
I mean, I'm not a huge Peyton fan, but yeah, he definitely deserved better than that. His day is completely overshadowed. I don't even think very many people remember it was Peyton Day. But from a political standpoint, you're playing to your base. You're trying to make sure that they know that you and the president are lockstep on this, and that even an organization like the NFL should, in your mind, fall in line with your ideology. So, 70% black folks, whatever.
So, Jamal, who do you think is going to win this game tomorrow? Do you think that the Eagles will go 5-1?
This is a hard game for me to pick because, unfortunately, my loyalties to the team that I'm angry at right now, we don't need the Eagles to be 3 games ahead of us. So I'm going to go with the home team, Carolina, and don't judge me. Don't judge me. What about you?
I've yet to see an entire game played by Carolina. I think that the Eagles will probably win. I think they'll probably do really well for the first half of the season, and then they'll do what the Eagles do.
Oh, like last year. Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they did kind of, tank. Really, Molly's president?
Who?
Melly's actually president?
Oh, yeah, you need to catch up.
Okay, all right, okay.
But you need to catch up on how to get away with murder first and then scandal.
Yes. All right. Because, for those stinker Thursday night games that are coming up, you're right. I need to be up to date. All right. So, Kay, anything? Oh, Kay, very quickly. Did you go to a sporting event recently? Or did you watch a sporting event recently that you wouldn't normally watch? Say one with a round ball that one dribbles down the court?
Oh, well, yeah, because I'm very excited about the NBA season, which starts on the 18th, 19th, 18th?
17th?
17th.
Yeah. Soon. Next week.
I am very excited about these new rookies that are coming to the league. And kind of like the older people just phasing their way out, okay? So we're going to talk a lot. And I know we say this all the time, but we're truly going to talk more or speak more about the NBA this time around. because I'll actually be watching the game.
Basketball Lollapalooza next week.
Lollapalooza. And Jamal and I, for the first time, will be doing a show in the next 2 weeks together, the same time zone, the same state, the same
city or district parking lot. Yeah.
We don't know. We're gonna figure it out.
We're gonna break the restraining order, the imaginary restraining order against us.
Who got the restraining order on?
I don't know. Somebody has a restraining order against us because we haven't been able to do a show together in over a year. So we're going to be
work out soon, Jamal.
Absolutely, we're going to do a show together. So be listening out for that, and we hope you enjoy. With that, Kay, where can people find things that we are saying?
Well, what they can do is go to our YouTube page and look for I Talk Back Sports. Also on Spreaker.com, that's speaker with an R, Spreaker.com, and look for I Talk Back. And if you want to see us on Twitter, we ain't that good with Twitter.
Wait a minute.
But you can also, just wait for us doing Saturday morning. Okay, let's talk about Saturday morning. Okay.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning, we're going to talk about college football.
Just one team in particular.
And there's a pretty big game on Saturday morning. And we're going to talk about the Texas Longhorns versus the...
I don't know who they're playing, but we're going to talk about the Longhorns.
The Longhorns. For sure, we're going to talk about the Longhorns. So everybody get up Saturday and tune in.
Yes. So with that, it's time to go eat. Okay? It's been real. Thank you very much. Glad I could catch you. And, okay. I mean, I'm glad you caught me. So, with that being said, thank you very much. Talk to you later.